Welcome to Waiver Claim, the show where we're not fighting each other. We're teaming up to take down our AI buddy MILO. It's human takes, AI verdicts every week. I'm Rich Wilhelm, and joining me as always, we got Chris Tomlinson, the man behind the robot known as MILO. Chris, take your binary code bow.
What up?
What?
I was gonna say I do want to complain about one thing real quick, since the trees are jizzing all over the place, which is really infuriating to me. At some point in the 1950s, that people decided we need male trees only. So low key F the patriarchy.
All right, so we're under a minute in, and it's already not safe for kids. Cool. Raphael Kroger, who despite the badass sunglasses is a big softie, even if he wants to kill this robot every single week. Welcome to the show, Raphael.
Thanks for having me, man. Excited to be here.
Always. Alberto Torres, who loves the Eagles almost as much as his morning coffee, and let me tell you, this man runs on coffee, instant coffee, which is disgusting, but coffee nonetheless. Welcome to the show, Alberto.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Look forward to conversing further about NFL.
There you go. And last but certainly not least, we got Vin Landolfo, who may not have championships on his wall, but he sure has championship level takes. Welcome, Honorable Judge Vin Landolfo, to the show.
Thank you for having me. I may not have championships, but I have a championship statuette, which counts.
It does.
2-time.
Couple quick ones before we get rolling. Walkthemock.com, best mock draft simulator out there. Build your dynasty team for yourself and for your favorite team. You want to use code WAIVER for 20% off. And then Vin, who is one of our Jersey friends over at Nerdities, he's one of 5 guys geeking out over all things pop culture. Follow them on Spotify and on YouTube. Follow us on socials and audio platforms at Waiver Claim Show. Find us on YouTube at Waiver Claim. Hit subscribe and help us spread the word. So the draft grades are in. Everyone's got an opinion on who won the draft. This week, we're asking a different question. Where do these picks actually fit? Depth chart reality, path to snaps, and the situation nobody's pricing in at this point. So our first segment, we have the waiting room, where we're going to go over 3 rookie quarterbacks and their realistic path to snaps this year and beyond. The waiting room is brought to you by the Pulling Guard. The Pulling Guard is an elite line of sports and trading card products built for collectors. From the viral Pulling Guard itself to the best-selling Monster Box dividers on TikTok, this is everything you need for your collecting setup. Graded card displays, penny sleeves, top loaders, dispensers, scanners. From rip to display, they've got you covered. Put that shiny cardboard on display and don't get caught with your cards down. Hey, check them out at protectyourpull.com and follow them on TikTok at pulling_guard. Use code IOG waiver claim for 10% off.
Should we double sleeve that?
You should double sleeve that. You don't want to, you don't want to get your card dirty. You want it to be a 10 on and off, always double sleeve it. The first QB that we're going to be talking about this week is someone that could have gone in the top 10 if not for injuries, if he came out a year before. And I'm talking about Steelers' very own Drew Allar, or Allar, however you want to say it. Everyone says his name differently. I'm not trying to look it up. So Vin's our resident, not a Homer Steelers fan. So it's only right we let the Ravens guy go first. Raphael, what's Allar's path to snaps?
So Allar, I believe he was a 4th-round pick, and he's Mike third round pick, and everybody wants to believe that he's Mike McCarthy's guy. And Will Howard was the 4th-round pick last year, and I honestly am a big 5th-round pick. Oh, well. 6th. Okay. Well, I understand Allar. The point is, I understand Allar was they used more capital on Allar than they did on Will Howard. He's Mike McCarthy's guy. Blah blah blah. None of it matters if Aaron Rodgers were to come back. However, Will Howard all throughout college was winning all kinds of awards. He won the national championship. He won the national championship MVP. He won the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. What has Allar won throughout his football career? He was the state of Ohio's Mr. Football for 2021 in high school. Big whoop. I think Will Howard they have similar measurements. I understand Allar has a better arm. However, Will Howard seems way more pro ready. And not for nothing, our resident Steelers fan this time last year was calling Will Howard Josh Allen 2.0, which at the time I said, what a homer. Of course he's saying that being a homer. But now that I actually have Will Howard on a dynasty team, I actually think it's true. And there's no way that was a homer judgment pick at all. So yeah, I'm all about Will Howard over Drew Allar.
I feel like I've heard like some trade takes with Will Howard. I'll throw that to Vin real quick. Like, do we think that's legitimate? I really don't see a point to doing that because Rodgers is on a 1 year at a time deal. So why would you get rid of 2 young quarterbacks or one of your 2 young quarterbacks? Do you think that's legitimate trade bait?
No, I think Mason Rudolph's the guy to get rid of. He's kind of the journeyman backup. So, you don't know what you got with Will Howard in the pros. And I never said he was Josh Allen 2.0. I said, Gruden said that. If anything, he's Big Ben 2.0 because Josh Allen is just a fantasy quarterback. He's not a real good quarterback when it comes down to it in real football. Hot take. But yeah, I think Howard probably comes in at the QB2 just because he's got more time in the pros. And McCarthy's going to really want to work with. I know Allar's got a lot of mechanical issues they're trying to flesh out because I think it's footwork, his arm mechanics, where he holds the ball and stuff like that, which if anyone could do it, he can. So Ravens are going to be little brother again for the next 10 years plus when one of these guys figures it out.
I was going to say, why do we think McCarthy is going to help him figure it out? Like, everybody, I feel like it's because I've had to deal with these people in the NFC East.
Careful.
But McCarthy's being sold as this QB developer.
Yes.
This is the same man who had the first overall pick, looked Rodgers dead in the face and said, nah, Alex Smith is my dude. So he passed on him originally when he was at the Niners. Sure, Rodgers won 2 MVPs under McCarthy, but then he got fired and Peter LaFleur, or his brother, Matt LaFleur, ended up taking over and he won back-to-back MVPs shortly thereafter. That's an indictment to me of McCarthy. This is essentially Brian Daboll in a trench coat at this point in time. So he didn't build Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers built McCarthy, similar to Allen to Daboll. So is he going to be able to develop Allar? I don't really see it. Again, nothing to do with Allar. This is about McCarthy. His entire resume is Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Dak. 3 QBs that were already the answer before he stepped place anywhere in those systems. So for me, Pittsburgh doesn't have a QB developer in McCarthy. They're just getting a guy that looks pretty standing next to one.
Yeah. Did he draft Jordan Love? That was kind of like one of the last couple of years he was there, maybe.
I thought that was LaFleur who did it.
It was LaFleur? Yeah,
I don't think so, but if so, he got fired pretty much immediately.
Well, he did help Dak kind of get to the next level because everyone calls him elite, but fantasy quarterback, get out of my face.
Dak is good. I agree. I don't know if he took Dak to another level. That's my problem is he's being touted as this elite QB developer, and I just don't see it. This is the reason why the Cowboys always flamed out in the playoffs. It's because he was mid.
I'm not allowed to speak against my team, so he's going to develop these guys, and they're going to win the Super Bowl in the next couple of years, and Lamar Jackson stinks.
I want to know how it feels to not be able to talk against your team, because for me it's like a lifestyle. You just gotta got to go with the pain here. So I know
You
you
guys
I've
guys.
been calling for Sirianni to be fired for 2 years.
Right, right. I mean, you guys are talking about the coach. Let me talk about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you guys know that meme where the dude is like standing in the corner in a party, and he's like, "They don't know how cool I am at this party," but literally no one at the party cares. They're just having their, enjoying their lives and having a good time. For me, that's Aaron Rodgers. I'm ready for the farewell tour to be over. I don't know if he's going to come in here and teach Will Howard or Allar anything, because that's just not the type of
He
person
will.
he is. He probably
He will.
won't, right? It's going to be based
He will.
solely on the coach. I think Will Howard is ready now. Honestly, if they didn't sign Aaron Rodgers and he's just kind of like doing his thing where he's doing his media tour, and Will Howard had to come in and start with this offense, I think he could. I don't think Allar should play a single game this year. I think obviously he's coming back from the injury. He needs his confidence back. But if the Steelers wanted to go with Will Howard, I'm perfectly fine with that. And all the Steelers fans that I talk to seem to be okay with that as well. The one thing that they agree on is they just don't want to see Mason Rudolph anywhere on the field. So,
Yes.
For me, everything that Will Howard did in college is notable. Like Ray Fell said, Allar, he could have been that guy, but he got hurt. But you'll never know because he got hurt and his draft stock went down the toilet. So, Alberto, do you see any path to Allar playing this year?
I mean, it has to be one of those injury after injury after injury, which you don't want to see because then they're going to have to replenish it elsewhere. Um, I would keep four, but I mean, I know the importance of other positions on the Steelers that you may need the depth. So keep the three. Will Howard definitely should be the two. See if you could trade off Mason Rudolph. Keep Allar as a developmental. Next year, we'll see what happens.
Does Rodgers play the Jets this year in MetLife? Because, I mean, that's an easier path for Allar to get to.
I mean, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that next week. I try not to look at the Jets schedule ahead of time because I get sad. I try to just imagine that it's all the off season and the season's never actually going to come. But next week we're going
Makes
to go.
one of us.
Yeah, next week we'll go heavy into detail about it. So we'll see if that MetLife turf is going to rear its ugly head again. All right. So the next quarterback we're going to talk about, which you guys are going to talk about because I don't want to talk about this guy at all, is Carson Beck. You may remember him as Chunk from the Goonies, but now he is acting as the Cardinals' backup quarterback. So everyone knows my thought. Vin, what do you think about Carson Beck's path to snaps in the near future?
Well, Brissett, I don't think he plays a full season ever, so he's definitely got a shot to come in. He's got pieces around him. You got to think Andy Dalton's probably his ceiling, which isn't bad. That Andy Dalton was slinging it for years, but pressure and deep ball accuracy, I think, were his main issues. So that's one. Pressure is kind of a hard thing to like get rid of that issue, especially if you've been doing it in college for how long was he in college? 4 or 5 years. He was there for a bit now.
6. I feel like
6.
he's just he found a way to get eligibility so he can go down to Miami and party. But
Oh boy.
never mind. Yeah.
Well, most doctors go that long, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he could, but it's all about getting more focus and not being attuned to like getting rattled by pressure, because it's the NFL. You have 3 to 3.5 seconds to throw if you're lucky. So, I again, Brissett's made of glass. I love the guy. I wanted him on Pitt years ago, but Beck's probably going to have a couple games this year. In my
I
opinion.
don't know. If I'm the Cardinals, like, I don't see the point really in trying this year. Like, they're a bottom 5 team this year. And me personally, my philosophy is there's no reason to be mid in this league. If you don't have a quarterback, like, it doesn't need to be a top 3 quarterback, but if you don't have a decent quarterback, what's the point? Everything, it seems like Brissett may be trade bait at some point. Maybe you get some starter that's injured and he gets traded. That really, to me, is like Beck's path to starting, because Minshew's the backup. Minshew, full of vibes, he should not be a starter. Perfect backup. Plenty fine there. So you need Brissett to get out of the way for that, whether it's through injury or through trade. But if I'm the Cardinals, I'm punting on this season personally, and I'd be okay with a 1-year reset because I still don't understand their pick at 3. You don't draft the running back when your team's trash, but whatever. Here we are.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be hard for first year coach to be on board with that. I mean LaFleur, it's going to be hard for him to agree with that because honestly, on offense, they're just completely loaded. They can kind of win some games, I think, by accident if you just look at all those positional players. You got McBride, you got Love, you got Marvin Harrison, you got Wilson. I mean, really, they are missing the quarterback, like you said. But this is kind of, I think, it's Brissett's final hurrah here. So again, I think he's going to try 100%. I mean, he was great. If you look at it last year for your fantasy team, if you had Brissett in there at the end, I mean, he was winning you games with Wilson and McBride. So I think by default they win a couple games, which might keep Carson Beck on the bench a little longer. But Raphael, what do you think about Beck here?
I think the Cardinals are actually going to be like one of 4 teams that are going to be tanking for Arch. The Jets,
Agreed.
Saints, Cardinals. I'm sure there's a team I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but I think there's going to be a few teams and wanting to tank for Arch this year.
Yeah. And Alberto, Carson Beck, so we can stop talking about this man, hopefully forever. What do you think?
Again, injury has to occur for him to play something meaningful. It could be one of those situations where, Brissett, let's say, plays 8 to 10 games. God forbid he gets hurt, has a under 500 record, and they're like, let's see what Carson Beck gives us, and he could just like stink it up for them or win a few games just to have value, and then they'll be like a top 5 pick for next year.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, if you're out of it, you might as well go with the rookie hot hand instead of a vet that's not going to be there for long. That makes sense. Last, but I mean, hopefully not least, for my sake at least, we got Cade Klubnik for the Jets. Alberto, I know this is your boy, so I'm going to go right back to you on this one. What is Cade Klubnik's path to snaps this year?
Well, raise your hands if you've seen Cade Klubnik and Chad Pennington in the same room. You haven't. So, be that as it may, they have appearances. They look alike. That's not going to matter at the end of the day. He's just going to have to prove it. Talks have been in training camp or, rookie training camp practices that he's been vocal. He's shown leadership. He takes the rookies to the side. They're staying in like some type of hotel. And like they're going to the gym and then they're going over plays. I mean, he's not going to have the full playbook in front of him this early, but at least getting that in there and getting, having those vibes, that's a good thing. Geno Smith could have a bounce back year. He could play most of the year. And, Cade may not even play. And, I'll have egg in my face. But I think the potential's there. There's a reason why they drafted for him, traded up for him in the 4th round. They did say, and this is, allegedly, I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but Denver was interested in him because if you look at it, Bo Nix got hurt against the Bills in the divisional game, and they had Stidman and Sam Ellering. And, if, let's say, Bo Nix doesn't come back until the preseason, you're really kind of like needing some bodies in there to play meaningful snaps if it ever gets to the week 1. It looks like Bo Nix is going to come back, so, I think his path is if Geno Smith falters, which is possible because he's proved it in Seattle and obviously with the Jets beforehand, he could come in before week 10 and play some games. Now, if he starts week 10 and that's 8 games there, give or take, 8-9 games, and he goes 7-2. Then you have something promising, but then it limits the Jets because then they fall off that top 10 bracket. They have 3 first-round picks, so they can use that at their will and move up if they want to. So they have that benefit. But then you bring a quarterback next year, or you stick with the hot hand. Going 7-2 to finish the season, that's not bad for Cade Klubnik.
I want whatever drug you're on. The,
Coffee
the
only,
Jets
buddy.
finishing
Coffee
a
only.
season. The Jets finishing a season at 7-2. I would name my dog Cade because they just don't ever do that. So I understand that he looks a lot like Chad Pennington. He's got the aura of Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. I just need his arm to back it up. Obviously, he was battling 2 injuries last year: his ankle and his wrist. Before that, he kind of was in the same category as Nussmeier and Allar with being linked to the first round. I mean, if you're basing it off of last year, obviously he fell to where he should have fallen. If you're doing the year before, he could have been a first round pick. I'm not high on Klubnik like you are. I just feel like he fell for a reason, and when he got drafted in the 4th round, everyone was surprised he was the guy. But I mean, everything he's doing right now off the field is what you want in a fantasy quarterback. I mean, he's talking about learning through adversity. The second that everyone got drafted after him, he immediately texted them, all the people before he was like on the line with them. He's trying to do everything he can as the rookie to be the face of the team. Because honestly, if you're looking at Cade Klubnik right now, there's no better situation for him than to be on the Jets because the Jets quarterbacks don't last. So the Jets have to kind of completely face plant for him to get on the field and also at the same time not sign Russell Wilson. So if they sign Russell Wilson, which is on the table right now, he has an offer on the table, I think this thing kind of gets put to bed. If they don't, then he can come in and kind of play like the Brady Cook role, like you said. Brady Cook didn't really win games. I don't know. The last guy that went 7-2, I couldn't even tell you on the Jets. So I kind of hope he doesn't play because that means that the Jets completely fell off a cliff, which is normally what happens. But Vin, what do you think about Cade Klubnik? Do you think he plays at all for the Jets?
Geno's another one that's been dinged up. He might get a couple spot starts here and there. It's not outside the realm of possibility because, let's face it, sorry, Jets fans, Jets stink. The organization's a mess. They mirror the Browns in all the wrong ways. However, they have a bunch of first-round picks. They had a couple this year, and they got a few next year. So, I mean, this year's just kind of a go through the motion season, develop the younger guys. But as far as quarterback, next year's supposed to be loaded.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Klubnik other than he's Chad Pennington reminiscent, and MetLife is really tough to throw in. So he'd have to be like the Chad to succeed, in my opinion.
Yeah. I miss the Chad. I just got to throw that out there. The Chad was the last time that I was like genuinely happy as a Jets fan, outside of obviously the Rex Ryan era that was short lived. But Chris Klubnik, talk to me. I know this robot's about to roast my team, so let's hear it.
I was going to say, so some of it's already been covered a little bit. Like, his realistic path is if Geno struggles. Like, if he struggles, there's going to be some pressure building up. Let's see what the rookie can do, right? Like, that's going to happen if it goes that way. I know Geno was not good last year, but I think there were extenuating circumstances on that. But I also think that for Klubnik is they did target him. I mean, I know it was a trade up on day 3, but they clearly kind of wanted him. My issue is it's not his path. It's just that the Jets don't develop quarterbacks. Like, Sam Darnold left New York and won a Super Bowl. Geno Smith left and led like the league in completion percentage or whatever. Like, the Jets didn't ruin Darnold. They didn't ruin Geno. They just preserved them in a state of like permanent mediocrity.
Yeah.
So, like, I see where he could get on the field. I don't think it really benefits the Jets unless they're tanking, which cool. I already said that I'm cool on that. And then you don't have to waste all your extra first rounders to get the guy you want. Like what they did this year, loading up on the weapons, you didn't have Mendoza available, so sure, load up everywhere else in the meantime until you could get the guy you want. I don't think this dude is the guy. What did he go, like pick 100 plus, like 110, something like that? Multiple teams passed over him multiple times. Is he a good developmental? Sure. Do I want him? Meh.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of the Jets is they're so bad that the staff is completely different for all those quarterbacks you talked about, but it's also a detriment.
It's always different.
Really different.
Each one's always different.
Right. So, I mean, hopefully Frank Reich can do what he can do.
I do like a Frank Reich.
Yeah.
I do like a Frank Reich.
Right. So, nowhere but up because we were bad. But
I mean, you do have a couple spots.
Yeah. We got one more spot to go up. We can be the first pick, and if we do, we get Arch Manning. It's fine. All right. So now it is time for the claim where we're going to give Milo one job. He's going to grade 5 rookie landing spots, A through F, no hedging, 5 verdicts. So let's see where Milo lands. Chris, this is your baby here. Take it away.
So, number one that Milo wanted to discuss was Caleb Downs, Dallas pick. Again, not thrilled. I've been seeing many of the memes that the Giants had one job, and it was to keep Caleb Downs from the Cowboys, and they screwed that up twice with their picks. But so everyone's focused on Dallas's offense. This is all Milo. Nobody looked at how completely the Cowboys rebuilt their defense. Clark and Williams anchor the interior. Lawrence and Barham, the new edge rush. New coordinator, which I'm a big fan of the new coordinator from the Eagles. New 3-4 scheme, new everything. And I think everybody agrees that the defense was Dallas's problem last year. So Downs walks in as the most proven player in the secondary that allowed 30 points a game last year, and they have nowhere to go but up, similar to the Jets. So full rebound, your best players get featured, and Downs is the best player back there. So Milo graded this spot specifically as a B+. I guess I'll throw it to you first, Rich. You got any feelings on?
I got some strong feelings on Mr. Downs here. I mean, this was my favorite pick in the entire draft. So if I'm looking 1 through 32, this is my only A+ that I gave. If you look at the Cowboys, they haven't had a real center fielder safety since Sean Lee, and I feel like Downs is kind of the most complete safety since Kyle Hamilton. So with the Matt Eberflus scheme, you need a quarterback back there for him on the defense, and I really do believe that Dallas drafted one with Caleb Downs. So my only A+ of the draft would be Caleb Downs here.
Ben, you got any takes on Downs?
I have to agree with everything Rich said. I didn't want him to go to Dallas. I was hoping somebody would take him. I knew I thought he was one of the best players in the draft, top 5 at least. But Cardinals monkey wrenched everything and took Love. They're going to be good this year. It's on Dak. It's pretty much Dallas is. If this guy's as good as everything's showed us, it's Dallas's year with that guy. I think he's really good.
Well, Dak won't be held back by McCarthy, so that's good.
Don't make enemies.
Chris really just hates coaches. What do you got there, Ben? What is that?
It's a Nordic Viking
battle
axe. Yeah.
Do you see Gritty's stick?
I do see your stick. You're posturing at me.
I showed you my stick last night. Did you like it?
Don't. I'll take the leather sheathing off. You don't want that, dude.
I'll let you take the leather sheeting off.
Somehow Ben made it sound more gay.
No. Pass.
Alberto, Rafael, you guys got any takes on Downs other than we're annoyed the Cowboys got a good player?
I really like the Kyle Hamilton comp. I feel like Downs has the potential to be the second best safety in the NFL, considering Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in the NFL.
Ew.
I know we don't agree with Rafael, but that is kind of my order too. But I think Downs could. It's hard to jump Kyle Hamilton, but I mean, I think he can get to that level for sure. Chris, who's number 2 on this list? I got to hear Milo's take.
So number 2 is Rueben Bain Jr. The Tampa Bay took him at 15. Milo's grading him as an A. Actually watched the Eagles dropped like a 20-minute inside the draft video recently. And one thing that I thought was like kind of interesting is Howie, when Tampa Bay took Bain, was like, oh, Tampa Bay got their guy. So like in my head, I'm like, did Howie have a trade up like planned with Tampa Bay unless they got their guy? And then that makes me think, were they trying to get up ahead of the Jets for Sadiq? Like
What?
an alternate reality type of situation if Ruben Bain isn't there for the Bucks. Like I think Howie had a trade up, but either way, Milo says the quietest slam dunk in this draft. Todd Bowles' defense had a glaring edge need and no established starter blocking the path. Bain slid to 15 and landed in exactly the right system with exactly the right need. The impact player nobody talking about, A. And I'm personally on board with this. I think for the previous one with Caleb Downs with the safety, you have to consider like positional like value. Like safeties in general are lower priority in building an entire football team. So that's the only place that I would ding that pick for the Cowboys. But this is an A for Milo. I'll throw this one to Raphael first. You got any takes?
So with the retirement of Levante David, it felt necessary for them to go and draft a linebacker. And to be honest, to have Rueben Bain fall to them at 15 was just nuts in my opinion. I honestly almost wanted the Ravens to draft him at 14 before they took Vega. I got to say, watching him at the draft come out and watching everyone before him stand in the mirror, making poses, not being divas, but celebrating the fact that he just got drafted, and his reaction being total polar opposite of theirs. I think that was a good look for him. I think he's going to be a tough, mentally and physically football player. And I'm actually excited to watch him play for the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, the only bad thing is when he tried to put on his hat, he couldn't reach. He tried to get the hat on with those arms, but he couldn't get the hat on. So besides that, I think it's going to be great for him.
And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in the Dayman episode. Like,
oh, you don't want to get started with Sonny with Raphael on here. We'll derail completely. But that will be for later shows for sure. I mean, I'll just jump in here. I love this pick as well. This was an A for me, just because Todd Bowles runs more blitz than literally any person in football. And you just look at that division. You got 4 beatable quarterbacks: Mayfield, Penix, Young, Shuck. I mean, he's going to eat. So I do think this is an A as well.
Anybody else have different takes, or are we all on board with?
I'm on board.
This is just a slam dunk pick.
Yeah,
I'm on board.
Guy's
Too.
a dog.
All right, so number 3 from Milo is Keldric Faulk, Tennessee edge. Apparently, we're just edging multiple dudes right now. Pick 31. Milo gave it. Milo gave it a B+. So everyone's focused on Tennessee's offensive disaster. Nobody looked at the defense. Faulk wants into a unit with real pieces and an immediate role as a first-round pass rusher. The Day Bowl chaos gets all the ink. Faulk's situation is genuinely good. B+. I told you before the draft, Rich, that I was in on Keldric Faulk. I was hoping he was there for the Eagles at 23 or whatever pick they were at there before they traded up. I was in. Raphael, I know you, or not Raphael, Alberto, I know you weren't as excited, so I'll throw this one to you first. What's your take on Faulk to Tennessee?
I mean, it is a Robert Saleh defense because he's the head coach, and that's what he's known for. So he can make something, work with it. I just don't see it with Faulk. I just think he's like outside of his element for some weird reason. Like that's his position, edge rusher. He's going to be used on the outside, whatever. But like, I don't know. I think they could have used that to use it for something totally different. Probably on defense too, maybe another corner or something like that. I'm not saying they don't need edge rushers. I'm not saying that that Saleh didn't choose it right. I just don't think it's the right player. It just reminds me of that player that the 49ers drafted a couple years ago, Solomon. Everybody's like, oh, big on hit. Yeah, Thomas Solomon. Like, he was a bust. He had some good games, but not really. That's what he reminds me of. I don't think he's going to do anything for that defense. They could have gone somewhere else with that.
Vin, you got any takes on this one?
I'm a solid guy. I think he's going to develop this kid. He's going to bring it.
I was going to say, I feel like when defensive coordinators that specifically target certain players and defensive coordinators that we respect and think are good, it's probably going to end up pretty solid for the person, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also going to be playing from behind. So, I mean, like, he's going to...
Relatable.
Yeah. I mean, just look at Tennessee. I think, they're going to be teeing off on that team. I think he's going to have a lot of snaps to get his numbers. That's all I'm going to say.
Anybody else got anything of substance on that one? No. All right, number 4. Milo grades this as an A-. Mansoor Delane to KC, number 6 overall. Press man corner. Mahomes wins. The secondary already has talent. There's no pressure to carry the team. Just execute your assignment and let the machine do the rest. The best thing that could happen to a young quarter is landing in a winning culture with no margin for error. Delane hit the jackpot, A-. I think where Milo maybe missed it is how the Eagles broke the Chiefs, but that's a different story. Rich, you got any takes?
I mean, this is probably my second favorite pick in the first round here. I mean, to me, he's the Snead replacement. And I kind of said that when we were doing our mock drafts. I mean, he is a press man specialist, built for Spags defense. He has like an all-pro ceiling in my mind. So, I mean, I'm giving him an A. It's hard. Obviously I gave a safety an A+. So, I'm not going to ding Mansoor for that. So it's going to be an A for me on this one.
Raphael, you got anything?
Yeah, I like the player, obviously. What I found weird was them trading up to get him. I honestly think that he would have fell to them at 9, and I felt like trading up to 6 was unnecessary.
I was going to say, cornerback is one of those high-value positions, so I could see why you feel the need to trade up there. But
fair enough.
I think most people agree with you that he was probably there at 9. So you're more the process than the player there is where you have issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a great landing spot for him. KC always has awesome cornerbacks. So, and, Andy Reid knows how to develop them. So,
Alberto, Vin, anything different?
Sir, go ahead.
I think it's perfect. I agree with what Raphael says. They didn't have to trade up for him. Unless if there was some kind of rumor that another team was going to come up to get another cornerback. I like the pick. It's a veteran team. It's a playoff team, obviously, aside from the injuries. He'll fit perfectly for what they need to do. And I think he has the great defensive coordinator coach to teach him the ropes and basically get him at a high caliber player that he should be.
Then any additional closing thoughts on that?
Yeah, I know. I think the kid's a dog. Good system to get into, but it's just a shame that he's probably going to be, he's not going to the bowl this year. Just putting it out there. Not the best team in the AFC. Obviously, when Rodgers comes back, he's going to just torch him. So, sorry, guy.
And moving on to number 5, Arvell Reese. I know Rich wanted him for the Jets. Giants took him at number 5. Milo is grading this as a B. And I think this is mainly because of where he's going to be playing instead. So John Harbaugh's defense is positionless by design. Reese lines up as a will linebacker next to Tremaine Edmonds, but can move anywhere. Burns and Carter are already on the edge. Harbaugh knows how to deploy a chess piece like this. The grade stops at B because the Giants are 4-13 coming off last season, and Jackson Dart is unproven. Great development situation, unclear winning situation. Like, if they were going to have him as a linebacker, why not draft Sonny Styles? Like, Like, what are we? I have to believe he's not only going to be there because then I have problems with this. Rich, I know you were big on Arvell for the Jets. How you feel about this?
I mean, Arvell as a defensive end, this is an A. Arvell as a middle linebacker, I'm with you on this. This is, I know you say that Harbaugh, his defense is positionless, but like, I mean, come on now. I mean, you need to have him have some sort of identity coming into the NFL after playing one real year in college. I mean, you need to have him solidified somewhere so he can fully learn that position. I think, with this team, he's going to play a lot of snaps, but to have him at the middle linebacker, I agree with the B grade for the Giants just because the Sonny Styles thing, like you said, I mean, if you want a linebacker, draft a linebacker and have him at a position where he can learn. That's the detriment for only having 1 year as a starter. So that's why I docked him a little bit. On the Jets as a defensive end, and I'm not being a homer because I hit my team, I probably would have given it an A.
Anybody else got any takes on this one?
Sure.
Like, I think we all liked Reese coming out. It's just the position that they're putting him in we're mainly concerned about. Raphael?
Ever since the Ravens got rid of Harbaugh and he got signed by the Giants, I keep hearing Harbaugh scheme, Harbaugh scheme. Harbaugh doesn't have a scheme. He's not a scheme guy. He's not a play call guy. He's just a rah-rah guy. All right. His scheme with Mike McDonald in 2023 was the only defense in history to have led the league in points per game, sacks, and turnovers. 2 years later with Zach Orr, they were one of the worst defenses in the league. Same scheme, mostly the same players. It just depends on who your coordinator is. And they have Denard Wilson was the defensive coordinator with Tennessee the last few years. When's the last time anyone has said, "Oh, I'm terrified to play against the Tennessee Titans defense"? So seriously, it's not. It doesn't come down to Harbaugh. It comes down to his coordinators, and maybe he can develop them. Maybe I'm wrong. I know the Giants defense is a solid defense. Maybe him playing alongside, the players on the Giants defense could benefit him. But I'm just sick of this Harbaugh scheme idea. It doesn't make any sense to me as a Ravens fan.
No, I'm with you. He kind of took on the Ravens' identity. Like, he was the special teams coordinator for the Eagles. Exactly. Like, he always struck me as more of a manager of people. Mm-hmm. Like, sure, he'll have his special teams, like, focus. He has thoughts on that a lot, but it's more a manager of people. And like you said, when he had a great defensive coordinator, let him run. Give him the tools, let him run. It went great. When you don't have that, fell flat. So I'm with you fully on that take. And as the resident Ravens fan, like, I'm glad what I was seeing on the outside is how you see it.
Yeah, I mean, I got called a hater a lot, but it happens.
You are.
That's how I have always seen it from the outside. How did you see it, Vin, from another hater perspective?
I think you and Raphael made some very practical points, but I'm more of a vibes guy. So I think with picking him at 5, I think Harbaugh, he's got something up his sleeve, and I think this guy's going to be a stud. And I'm happy Harbaugh's out of the AFC North. I would have taken him in Pitt. But Raphael has all these, I don't know, stats about him in the defense.
Maybe he's going to deploy the late 90s, early 2000s. Arvell's going to be a wedge buster on special teams. I don't know.
He's going to be a football player, I think. I think he'll figure it out. Why not?
I think he'll be fine. It's just if he's pigeonholed into linebacker position, that's my problem.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're going to move him around. It's just, there's like so solidified on this Mike linebacker that it's just driving me nuts. So, Raphael, I completely agree with what you said. I just didn't want to talk completely down on the Ravens. But now that we're on the same page, like I said, it's going to be a B-. So, and on that note, we're going to go to our third and final segment of this lovely show. It's called the Day 3 Shelf. So the draft is always about round 1 in a lot of people's minds, but this segment is about Day 3 picks who are actually going to play in 2026 and why their landing spots matter more than just the round number they're in. So we're going to be talking about Jonah Coleman, the running back from the Broncos, Matthew Hibner, the tight end from Raphael's very own Ravens, and Jermod McCoy, the cornerback from the Las Vegas Raiders. So running backs win championships in fantasy. Raphael, tell me a little bit about why you like Jonah Coleman this year.
I actually don't. I don't like anything about this backfield, especially with Gruden's unpredictableness. You know, one week Harvey's going to be the leader. The next week Dobbins is going to have the most carries. The week after that, then it's going to be Coleman. I really wish Coleman didn't get drafted by the Broncos because I am a Harvey believer for sure. And I understand he wasn't as efficient last year when Dobbins got put on the shelf. However, with Dobbins coming back and Harvey carving out a larger role than he did to start the season last season, I was really excited. And then Coleman gets drafted there, and now I want nothing to do with this backfield. So that's honestly how I feel about the situation.
I mean, I hate agreeing with you on literally everything, but that's identical to how I feel about Jonah Coleman. I mean, you look at Sean Payton, he's never had a workhorse offense. You got Reggie Bush, you had Deuce, you had Mark Ingram, you had Pierre Thomas, you have Kamara, you have Latavius Murray. Payton, I mean, rotates running backs, and he always has, he always will. I know a lot of people are talking about Dobbins. Dobbins for me is not even in my mind when I'm thinking about Coleman. I think Harvey alone is going to eat a lot of carries. So I think he can beat out Dobbins for that wide receiver too. But I mean, this running back by committee, like you said, it hurts my Harvey stack that I have.
Well, to be fair, Dobbins gets hurt every year, so there's definitely potential for him to see some playing time. But if Peyton's able to manage Dobbins' workload, maybe he doesn't get hurt for the first time in his career, and it's just a mess all season. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. What does Milo think about this one, Chris?
Well, so a couple of things. Coleman was the number 6 most likely to earn starter snaps among all day 3 picks across all positions, was one thing he noted. They mentioned Dobbins missing time. The main thing that Milo pointed out is Harvey is more of a change of pace back. I don't know how you guys feel. Do you feel him as a little bit more of a workhorse or just a change of pace back? Because he's a change of pace back. Dobbins is likely going to get injured because he always does. He could have some value because Peyton has Peyton as an offensive guy, I'm kind of in on that. Me personally, I'm just out on messy running back situations like this. I want nothing to do with it because I know I'm just going to pick the wrong guy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like Harvey is the pace. I don't think he's the change of pace guy. I think that would be Coleman once Dobbins gets hurt or Dobbins, while he's healthy. For me, I mean, you look at the end of last season, Harvey was doing a lot for Denver. So for me, I mean, I would pace based on Harvey. And I don't really know if a round 4 running back is going to change a lot of that this year. But Vin, what do you think about Coleman?
I really like Coleman because, like you guys said, Dobbins is always hurt. Harvey stinks. Everything Raphael said is just skewed because he's biased because he's got him on his fantasy team. He's a little inefficient on the ground. He's a great pass catcher. He's more of a Pierre Thomas, in my opinion. I think Coleman comes in. I think he can get 800 yards and 7 touchdowns this year, no problem. Assuming Dobbins goes down anyways.
Yeah.
Have you not had an opinion yet where you try to trash me?
I'm gonna plead the fifth there, sir.
I mean, he did agree that Kyle Hamilton's pretty good, I think, before. So you got one thing.
No, I didn't. I would never do that.
He actually said he loves Kyle Hamilton. It's his favorite player. That's what I heard. I think we can roll it back. Alberto, Coleman, what do you think? Is he going to be someone you're going to draft this year?
If he falls to me, yes. My dynasty team is horrible, so I only have 2 draft picks. But I think he's a perfect handicap to RJ Harvey. He's going to get the carries that you need.
One of the social experiments we're going to do on this show is we're going to bring up Alberto's fantasy team just so we can dissect it. And I think that might actually be an episode within itself because he's
I was going to say Milo's going to be running for weeks.
I mean, you just got to see this. It's like a beautiful mind on crack. I could see the vision of every move that he's made because I see it in real time. But then what happens, I don't know. But when we do our league with this, with this show, you'll kind of see it in real time as well, which I'm very, very excited for. Just no one can trade with Alberto. That's off the table.
So,
Our next guy we're going to talk about here, Matthew Hibner, tight end from the Baltimore Ravens, round 4, pick 133, late but mighty. Rafa, I'm going to give it to you, even though, I know you're a tad of a homer, a little bit. Tell me about Hibner.
So I don't think Hibner's going to see any meaningful snaps this season. The Ravens obviously still have Mandrews, they signed Smythe in the offseason from Chicago, which Declan Doyle was from Chicago, did coach in Chicago last year, and he's now the Ravens offensive coordinator. They also drafted Jacoby Lane and Surratt before they drafted Hibner. And not to mention they drafted another tight end from Alabama a round after Hibner. So it just feels like it's going to be way too difficult for him to get on the field. I understand Smythe is more of a blocking tight end. He's not going to be out there for passing downs and things of that nature. But I can't see him getting meaningful snaps, if that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, do you view him kind of as the Y tight end, the one that's going to be doing all the dirty work, like the blocking tight end more than
the likely role, basically?
Yeah,
sure, but there's no telling if he's gonna be as good as likely. And Lamar likes to spread the ball out a lot, so maybe he'll get snaps, but is he gonna catch it a bunch? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, tight ends usually eat in that offense, so maybe he'll get a few, touchdowns. But I agree. I mean, this early on, I'm with you 100%.
Somewhat of a different offense. The tight ends were particularly eating a lot because of our offensive coordinator, who's now the Browns head coach. His name escapes me at the moment, but he was a big tight end guy.
Yeah, Todd Monken,
so I think
Georgia loyalty. Yeah.
Yep, there you go. So,
Vin, what do you think about Hibner? I know you're not going to say anything nice because he's a Raven, but that's purposely why I'm asking this question. How bad is Hibner going to be?
I think he's a very nice guy. However, he's in a terrible situation. Run first team with a quarterback that's got the accuracy of Helen Keller. I just don't see anything of production out of him. Maybe he's a good blocker. Hope he's a good blocker. But
then he doesn't even know who Hibner is. Let's be honest.
I do know who Hibner is. He stinks. He's on a stinky team, and I hate him. He's probably a nice guy, though.
Probably a nice guy. What does Milo think of Hibner here, Chris?
Tight end 2 has a real target share in Baltimore in general. Isaiah likely replacement. So there's a path in there. If you're talking to me with reference to this, we're talking about a 4th round tight end. Fantasy purposes, no point. No point for this year. Dynasty, sure, maybe. But like your regular redraft or anything, I don't really see the point on having a rookie round 4 tight end 2 on any team, even one that targets tight end 2s more than the average.
I will bet you $1 that this man ends up on Alberto's team. It's a sucker bet, but it's a bet I'm willing to make. But on that note, we'll move on to.
I don't make those bets blindly. I don't know Alberto enough with his fantasy teams to know if I'm being duped right now.
I mean, I'm duping
just
you.
The one team.
Now, but you'll see soon. Our last guy of this show is Jermod McCoy. He is the cornerback for the Las Vegas Raiders, who was drafted round 4, pick 101. Obviously, we know why he fell. There's some injury stuff going on there, which we're going to have to see the extent of. But in our original mock draft, Chris, both me and you and Milo and everyone, Alberto, everyone had him in the top 20 for at least the first draft. And even my final, it was hard not to put him in the first. It kind of came out right before the draft happened that his injury is worse than what we thought. And he fell to this place in the draft because of that. So let's start with Milo. What is
I was going to say, was this one of those like degenerative knee conditions, like what was it, Jay Ajayi at some point? Like, is that what this ended up being?
I think he still has the body part, unlike Ajayi. I think it is, obviously it was a bad injury and he is coming back from it. So it's just, he might need another surgery, is what they're saying. There's possibility that he could be knocked out for the year if he has, the injury is bad enough to have surgery, but they're hopeful that he's going to be able to play, week 1. So it's kind of a toss-up.
All right. Several bullets for Milo, though. NFL.com ranked McCoy the number 1 among all day 3 picks for likelihood to earn starter snaps. Raiders cornerback room is genuinely thin, so opportunity to get in there. McCoy slid out of day 2 for one reason, like you mentioned, knee health. If healthy, week 1 starting quarterback on a rookie deal on the team built around the number 1 overall pick. The Raiders need a defense to build around Mendoza. He fell due to medicals. So effectively, if he's able to run, he's probably going to be pretty solid, or at least worthwhile right now would be my general take. It's, does the knee hold up?
Right. So since he is a Raider and not a Raven, Vin, I'm looking forward to hearing nice things about McCoy here. What do you got?
I like guys with stories like this. It's kind of like Keenan Allen because he fell with knee injuries. If they give him time to rehab properly, if they don't rush him, he can come back and be a dog. And I would welcome that. I mean, the Raiders have been in purgatory for forever. Even when they were with Derek Carr, you just kind of knew, or David Carr, Derek Carr, you kind of knew the wheels were going to fall off eventually. So I'd like to see him come back properly. Like, rehab him right. I think he'll be good to go.
Rayfel, let's close this thing out. What do you got for McCoy?
I mean, I pretty much agree with everything Vince just said. It turns out he's not a complete idiot.
Wow. I mean, we should just cut the show right there. You can't get any better.
Endorsement. Not a complete idiot.
Not a complete idiot. That is the nicest compliment I think anyone can ever receive from Rayfel.
Yeah, my dad too. So that's like really good.
Any last words from Milo here, Chris? Anything you got? This is my way of saying, does Chris have an ending opinion? Anything?
No, I'm still looking for that caftan sponsorship. Like, just imagine like a Nintendo or Sega Genesis themed Tecmo Super Bowl caftan. Shit would slap. Let's be real.
Yeah, we can get you a caftan sponsorship. I'm gonna work on that exclusively.
Stacey's friend Frankie, 7 Strong brand, make it happen.
There you go. Throwing people in for free. I love it. It's for the people around us. So I want to thank everyone for tuning into the show. Again, please follow us on socials and audio platforms at Waiver Claim Show. Find us on YouTube at Waiver Claim. Hit subscribe. Help us spread the word. Hit us up and let us know what you think about the show. What you like, what you don't like. We are always open to suggestions, and we love to hear it. We're all about the human takes and the AI verdicts. And that's the show. 3 segments, 11 players, and 1 sassy-ass robot. Until next week, this has been Waiver Claim.
Waiver Claim! Waiver Claim! Waiver Claim! Waiver Claim! Under in the state of green! Waiver Claim! Yeah, we play that game! This is Waiver Claim! Under in the state of green, from the draft board to your screen. Who you start? Who you fade? Who you ride all week? Human mind versus the mainframe. We decide that speak. Yo, it's Rich with the picks, got the board on lock. Sunday slate, money line, clock, tick, tick, tock. Sleeper in the slot that your league don't see. Turn the bench spot boy to a big time fee. Chris with the tape, he's the frame that thinks. Ask one question, watch it blink, blink, blink. Got data, got charts, got a slide side eye. If the robot wrong, then we both gon' fry. Okay. Craig on the mic, baby face, big talk. Walk you through the spread, do the chalk outline. Walk from the mock to the prop to the live in game. If you scared of the sweat, why you press that name? MILO the mainframe spits out plays. Human gut check, call that fade. Binary brain meets barstool brag. Either way we cash when we plant that flag. This is Waiver Claim. Under in the state of green, from the draft board to your screen. Who you trust?